Hello, hello? There, perfect. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. So on the average age that I have you guys now, it's like 20 and up? Okay. 20 and up, right? Okay. Do I have an American accent? Okay, I thought I did. 20 and up. Okay. So here, I've been asked to give this talk because what it is a lot of young people, right, are having a hard time. How will I know if this person is right for me, right? In marriage, we're talking permanent. And Lord have mercy if it's the wrong person, because that is a long permanent, right? Okay, so I need you guys to move closer up. I need to see the whites of your eyes. Come on, come on, come on. I don't bite. Yet. Hello, ladies. You look so cold. I'm like expecting a sleeping bag to come out at any moment. Yeah. Did you tell them they were starting? Like my mom used to say, right? All right, let's get started. Okay. If God loves me, why am I still single? Right? I hear that a lot. It's like, you know what? I really want to find somebody, and I keep praying to God, and God is just not giving me the right person. What's going on? Am I doing something? Am I not praying hard enough? Does not God want me to be with somebody? Right? So, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. In other words, choosing a mate is not in your hands, right? It's in God's hands. Doing your due diligence is in your hand. Due diligence means doing your homework, okay? That is in your control. I need you to move up. Come on. Oh boy, we have a young one. She's really going to start early. Okay. Next. So trusting in God. No one tests the depth of the river with both feet. When you see water, you don't just put both feet in, right? You go one, make sure there's ground, and then you put the other one in, right? That's what marriage or selecting a partner looks like. You just don't dive in. This is the one, I'm in love. I can't believe it, I found the right one. How long have you known this person? Oh, I've only known them for 3 weeks. Pop the brakes, pop the brakes. Might not be the right one. Okay, let's look at the various ways you could gauge if the person you are with or looking for is for you. So we're gonna go through some of the stages. Okay. What? Oh. Many people are often polarized between the pursuit of one's own happiness and the illusion of what marriage should be. So we know what we want, right? But the illusion of being married and everything's going to be done in wonderful hunky-dory erases that. So what we want and what we're looking for and what people are telling us we should be looking for, it becomes confusing. So hopefully this talk will kind of spread everything out, okay? Many people, families' influences affects one's outlook on the relationship. A lot of times parents are like, Menuda, Mom, he's 3 feet tall. Melhadi, Mom, I've done it to my son, Mom, stop it. She's not the one I'm looking for, right? Or my daughters, Menuda, it's like, Mom, Stop it, right? It's just a parent thing. How to build or connect in relationships that are healthy, safe, fulfilling, leaving out the distracting influences. It has to be you. It can't be all information coming in. When you're looking for a mate, it has to be you with clarity, because if you have clarity in your head that you know what you're looking for, you're going to recognize signs that are not good. And you're going to be able to walk away. But if everybody's all over you telling you how wonderful that person is, and in your heart you know this person is something not right with that person, but everybody around you says they're good, that influence is sometimes not great. Make sense? Because a lot of family members or other people will look on the outside. You dating the person, we're going to talk about dating, you're going to get to know the person more in depth. And red flags, we'll talk about that. Okay, when we don't assess the past, we are often led to disappointment. One must first understand what happened in past relations before entering a new relationship. I have a young lady, she was in a relationship, a 3-year relationship. He was a narcissist, he was abusive, he was verbally aggressive to her, right? So she was with him for 3 years, he tortured her almost. She got out. She got into a relationship right away. What do you think he was? Exactly. And if she leaves that relationship, which she did, we got her out of that relationship, it was really bad. When we got her out of that relationship, what relationship do you think she'll get in? Same. Nothing is going to change. So if you're, no, go back. Back up, 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 up. Come closer. That's the last line. See what happens when you come late? You sit in the front. No, up front. Right here. Yeah, all up here. That's what happens when you come late. No, right here. Okay. So if she doesn't do something about herself, then she is likely to repeat it. No, she's not likely. She's 100% going to repeat it because she doesn't know what the difference is. So when she's told me, she's coming to see me now, and so we actually I have to work with her to leave this guy. This guy's nuts. Now we're trying to get a restraining order on him because he's really harassing her, right? So she's like, yeah, I met this guy, and I'm like, oh, stop, just stop. Let's work on you. Let's figure out what's going on with you. Why do you keep attracting these people? So if you find yourself going in a relationship and you're not sure why you're not finding the right one, maybe you need to pump the brakes and figure out what's going on, okay? With yourself. Talking to somebody, not your friend. Blind leading the blind is usually not good, right? But talk to somebody that you trust. Talk to somebody, I don't know if you guys have mentors in this church, but talk to somebody that you respect who's older, that you can kind of lean on a little bit on, and they can help you with it. If that's the case and you don't want to talk to anybody in church, I always recommend seeing a therapist. Nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing. It doesn't mean if you're mentally ill, you won't know you need to go see somebody. You think everything's great. But if you're struggling and you know you're struggling, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in it. It makes you healthier. It makes you get into better relationships. Happier marriages. Make sense? Often fear from the past that keeps us from having healthy outlooks on relationships. Go. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, yeah, we're repeating it again. And I get people coming into my office and he's like, yeah, I'm dating again. And he's really hurting my feelings. Sometimes I'm like, again? But I can't say anything because they're the ones who are struggling with it. Okay. Modern dating, right? We all know modern dating apps, yes? Right? Have you guys seen some of those apps? Yeah, pretty funky stuff. Okay. It's not easy to date in this world today. Dating has become frustrating, confusing, and often leaving many young people like yourself wondering, how am I going to do this? How am I going to find this right person for me? When you have so many apps. Let's look at the changes. In the past, dating rules were very clear. There's dating. Take a guess. Do you know it? No? Anybody? Okay. Courting, go ahead, takes a position of that two people have no physical contact at all until marriage. They go in, go ahead. They go into the relationship with the intent of marriage. They go out, their family gets them, they go out, they're courting together, they get married. And usually it means they're never alone. That means there's always someone with them. An older sibling or younger sibling or parents or something. They can never be alone to get to know each other. That's courting. People don't do that anymore. Today, we have technology. So today we have no rules. There's no such thing as rules in dating anymore. It's a free-for-all to all. It is more of a social event, more superficial. If it gets more serious, then the couple will need to decide if they are exclusive or dating. I never understood that. Somebody's like, oh, I said, are you dating him? And she's like, yeah, we haven't had the talk yet. And I'm like, what talk? What are you talking about? How long have you been dating together? She says, we're not dating. We haven't had the talk to say, are we exclusive? So now you have to be clear if you're being exclusive or not. I don't get it, but we'll figure it out. Wow. Marriage is not always the goal for both of them. Sometimes they just need companionship. Dangerous ground. What if I pick the wrong one? The pool is big, right? I have a young man. He said to me, he says, I don't know if I could settle down. I'm like, why not? He says, there's so many women online. I'm like, dude, you can't have them all, right? So many women to choose from. What if a better one? And this is somebody in the church. What if a better one comes along? Okay, how do I answer that? Right? The pool is huge. So many women out there. So, when surveyed, people will say they are afraid to make the commitment in case the right one comes along. What if somebody nicer comes along? What if somebody it's usually prettier. What if somebody prettier comes along? What if somebody more handsome comes along? What if he makes more money? What if she's like gorgeous? I'm stuck with this person, right? So the attitude has changed. So if you're finding yourself kind of leaning in on that a little bit, you need to do a kind of like a sweep on yourself and figure out, are you doing that? Because that can get you into a lot of trouble. Now, people who would have been thrilled to have a date are feeling empowered to reject those who feel they would reject them. So your average guy, not a jock, it's your average guy, who normally would not get the hottest girl, if he swipes left or right, and he's like, I can get better, swipe. When in reality, they would not have gone out with anybody. Let's be real, right? Let's just get real here. Okay. Virtual dating. There are so many websites. I get people coming into my office telling me about all these websites, and I'm like, oh dear, oh dear. And they're like, oh, you should meet this guy, he's gorgeous. And I'm like, well, did you read up his character? Well, there's not that much information about him. I'm like, and you're going out with him? Yeah. I said, please let him meet him at the restaurant. Why? Public place? And 75% of my clients meet the person that really didn't have that picture. Completely different person. You could be who you want to be online. Or they could be. These are some of the websites that you could go on. eHarmony is the hardest to get on because you have to pay and there's a lot of money. The rest, OkCupid. Which one of these is the most danger? Which one of these is the hookup? Tinder. Yeah. I had a client, she was like, oh, I met somebody on Tinder yesterday. And I'm like, and? Oh yeah, we hooked up. I'm like, oh dear. Oh dear. Did he call you back? No. So she's heartbroken. It was known as the hookup. You just go hook up and people don't want relationships. Right? So you have to be careful. You have to be careful with what you're going on. There's also Coffee Meets Bagel. Do you guys have Coffee Meets Bagel? No? We have Coffee Meets Bagel, which is kind of, I like the name, but just as bad. Bumble. You guys have Bumble? The girls swipe left or right. I don't know if it's right is the right one or is it left the wrong one? Yeah. But it's funky because I hear a lot of people say, oh yeah, I swiped, and I'm sitting there. That is a danger. So you could be in a, not you guys, but people could be in a relationship, but still are looking to see if they could still find the right one when that person's right next to them. This is also dangerous in marriages. A lot of marriages, somebody's also on these. Someone broke up with somebody, they're getting a divorce. She found out he has always been on Tinder. So it's better kind of like, be careful, that's all I can say. This is another way of dating. How many of you guys watch The Bachelorette? Kind of, right? My daughter was watching it, and I was walking past the kitchen, and I'm like, oh, I froze, because all those, not these ones, but the next one, she said, I love him. I love him so much. He's my soulmate. I froze. I'm like, what is she talking about? This is a 6-week show. How do you fall in love with somebody in 6 weeks? Can you fall in love with somebody in 6 weeks? Let's be honest. Can you fall in love with somebody in 6 weeks? You can't fall in love with them chemically. Chemically, you could fall in love with somebody. All the chemicals will fire. But that's where your brain and your heart get disconnected. We need to keep them together. Yeah, these shows, ridiculous. Ridiculous. I don't get these shows at all. Okay. So some of the changes in our dating. The way to a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. Okay? So asking somebody, listening to somebody, your friends sometimes know. If you, let's say, for example, go out with somebody and they tell you, what are you thinking? That person's crazy. Yeah, but she's gorgeous. Yeah, but she's crazy. No, but she's sexy. He's so handsome. He's a doctor. Come on, look at him. He's nasty, he's mean, he's hurtful. But he's a doctor. Be careful, because sometimes counsel comes to you. Be wise enough to hear it. It's right there in the Bible. I didn't make it up. Today, selecting a mate is based on romantic feelings. The guidance of the others is often not as valued as much as in the past. Some people may not want others' opinions. They don't want others. They don't want the others to tell them what's good or not good, because I know better. But in finding a mate, having your friends know who it is that you're going out with often is a good idea. And I know in the Egyptian community, we're not supposed to tell who we're dating. It's supposed to be a secret, right? And then all of a sudden, we're engaged! And you're like, oh my God. Oh my, what? Right? How many of us see that? And you're like, what? Off your phone. Okay. Let's keep going. When under pressure. So when we are under pressure to get married, our mind and heart often do not work together or even are in the same room. Our heart is one way and our minds go another way. They're never together because we're under pressure. Especially parents, Egyptian parents mostly, right? كبرتي في السن. Right? كبرتي في السن. You need to find somebody. Mom, I'm 17, but you need to find somebody. Come on, all Egyptian moms, right? I got married older. I got married at 20. We got married at 24, right? And we were considered old. My mom was ready to give up on life for me. She's never going to get married. Okay. Okay, here is this is a bride that came to see me, which I was completely and utterly shocked. She's getting a divorce, and when she came to see me, she said to me clearly, as I was walking down the aisle, in my head, I was praying that someone would stop me. Should she have gotten married? But the pressure on her to get married made her walk down that aisle. Listen to your heart clearly, not always. Listen to your head, not your heart. No, follow your heart, but take your head with you, please. Please. Okay. The pain of marrying the wrong person is worse than your present fear of not getting married before 30. Take note of this. If you need to take time to find the right one, please do. Please do. This is a lifetime decision. And if it's with the wrong person, it's a long, 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 miserable life. If it's the right person, it'll feel like just days. We've been married for 32 years. It feels like 32 weeks for us. okay? But I got married older because I wanted to make sure I got the right one. So, when do people go into unhealthy relationship? Does anybody know? Why would we pick the wrong one? Guess. Just guess. Give me guesses. Hasty. Okay. Lonely. That's good. That's going to be there. Anything else? Lots of pressure. Feeling insecure. Yeah, that's a big one. Feeling insecure. Anything else? So let's see what are some of the unhealthy things. Rebound. Who's heard of rebound? Remember the girl I told you about? Broke up. She went to the next relationship. Finding a partner immediately after a breakup. It is a frantic attempt to appear desirable in the eyes of the person who terminated. If a marriage occurs, often a relationship will be in reference to the previous person, not the current marriage. You're always going to be comparing because it's a rebound. Likely to work? No. I've yet to see a rebound marriage work or rebound relationship. The rebound means you're stuck between two. In order to have a healthy relationship, you need to get off the old one, work on yourself, and get on the new one. Make sense? Yep, okay. Rebellion. When the parents say no, the person says yes. It demonstrates one's control over one's own life and often a very weak way of showing independence. Unfortunately, they use the partner to get back at others. They're just rebelling. Really? Really? You told me I'm not supposed to marry them? Guess what? I'm marrying them. Who are you hurting? Right? So these are ways of people getting into relationships that are unhealthy ones. Escape. Used when the home environment is not happy, healthy, or good to be in. This marriage will be very risky because often it is done quickly before the couple really get to know each other. If that fish took a little bit of a moment, they wouldn't have jumped. Where are they jumping into? They're jumping out of their little comfortable place into a cat's mouth. You got to be careful, because sometimes you hear people, especially with the young ones in the church communities, I just have to get out. My parents are so strict. I just need to get out. I just need to get out. That's where our problem might be. Okay? Loneliness. Often a person marries because they fear they will be alone forever or get too old. However, one could be in a marriage and be very lonely. Just because you're married doesn't mean your loneliness is gone. You can be very, very lonely in a marriage. Just things for you guys to think about. Physical appearance. Many times we are influenced by media that tell us what beauty looks like. Often partners' physical appearance are simply to gain the approval and admiration of others. Unfortunately, some people build this self-concept from the partner's physical attributes. Basically, look how hot he is, and he is mine. Why do you think I put those two up there? They're good looking. Let's be realistic. Beckham, he is hot from top to bottom. There's nothing wrong with that man. That man is right? I know. But he's a cheater. He cheats on his wife all the time. Sure, he looks great, but is he someone I could rely on? Someone I could depend on? Someone could be in my life to protect me and take care of me? No, he's a cheater. Angelina Jolie, she's hot. Let's just put it out there, right? She's a very sexy woman. She also has severe mental illness. She cuts herself all the time. She does. She comes with a lot of issues, but she's gorgeous. And a lot of times people don't see the other stuff. They just see the physical parts. Does that make sense? Yeah? You had a question? You look like you have a question. They're beautiful, aren't they? I think they are. Beckham? Holy moly. Okay. Do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. It's right there. If he's gorgeous, if she's absolutely beautiful, you need to kind of talk to yourself, okay, what is this person? Who is this person? And what is it about them that I like or love? Okay? We're going to talk about red flags. Any questions so far? Oh, come on, you look beautiful. Social pressure, friends, church, school, work, and parents, especially moms. Oh, dear Lord. Give me something else to talk about. So this pressure may cause panic to set in, fear that they will be left behind on some train that everyone else has a ticket for, but you. You're the only one going to miss this train if you're not on it, this marriage train. Okay. Guilt and pity. This is a big one. This is not as rare as you think. Marrying someone because you feel sorry for them or are worried they will never find someone, this is not a good formula. It happens, I know. Oh, you know what? She's a wonderful person. She really is. She's good. Do you love her? She's a really good person. Okay. Is God okay with dating? What do you guys think? Did you say yes? Where does it say that? Depends on?
If you're going against his will, or if you're staying on the right path, depends on your situation, your mindset.
Okay. So God is allowing us to date, but he also has restrictions?
Within certain boundaries, yeah.
Okay. So God is okay with dating?
Mostly. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Are you sure?
If done right, yes.
Are you sure God is okay with dating?
Yes.
Thank you. That was peer pressure. But you stuck with it. Good job. Right? Yes. Okay, let's see what the Bible's position on it. The Bible talks about being in love and honest in all you do. Dating behind someone's back, hiding it in secrecy, knowing or ashamed of it is not God's way. God's way is light. Okay? Dating in a holy way. That means being careful with what you're doing and what the other person is expecting of you. God uses dating to help people grow. Our children have dated. Actually, it's our little one. She called me about a month ago. She was dating. She went out on a date, and she called me. She's like, Mom, I'm on a date. I'm like, okay, how's the date? Mom, this man is drunk. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do? She says, Mom, I need to get out. I'm like, get out. I'll call you. I'll call you and tell you there's an emergency. I'll do whatever you have to do. Get out. She's like, Mom, I don't know. I said, get out. She said, I said, get to one of your friends that can pick you up and get out. But if she wasn't comfortable enough with telling us about it, she wouldn't have been able to reach out to us. So if you're open and honest and nothing to hide, right, then you're able to have that conversation with your family. Same girl, she called me and she's like, Mom, this guy is crazy. She's out on another date. She's a real cutie, so she went out on another date. I'm like, okay. She's like, Mom, this guy is obnoxious. I said, what is he doing? She says he's trying to touch her and kiss her. She's never met this boy before, right? So I said, go to the bathroom, collect yourself, and then rip him a new one. Does everybody know what that means? No, you don't know. I'm not going to explain it to you in church. In other words, tear him apart. Tell him who you are. She went back to him, gave it to him really well, walked away from him, right? But if I wasn't telling her, if she wasn't asking my opinion because she was hiding it and embarrassed about it, right, then it would have gone to a whole different level. Am I making sense? Does that make sense? Just because you go out on a date with somebody doesn't mean you have to give up who you are. That's not the way God wants it. Be who you are, be comfortable. You're there to get to know the person and to mature. Dating creates maturity. Are you playing? You need to ask who are you dating and who are you becoming when you're dating them. If that person wants to lie about where you're going to be, you need to think about it. If that person is saying, oh, let's just do it, don't worry about your parents, You need to think about that. Are they changing you for who you are? If they allow you to be who you are, then you're meeting someone that's relational to you. Are you true to yourself and to God when you are dating, or are you becoming a person you don't like? Make sense? Yes? Nods? I don't know what you guys are calling nods in Canada, but this is a nod. Nods? Nods? Okay. Good grief, people, come on. Okay. If done in a godly way, dating could teach us how to handle all that dating brings. How to grow in your experiences. Now my daughter knows that when she walks in, if a young man is late, not to accept it. If a young man is touching her, that's not acceptable. If a young man is not holding himself properly in drinking or acting ridiculous or talking ridiculous, she knows there are limits and boundaries. Okay, so that she had to have gone through dates in order to learn to do that. Does that make sense? Off your phones, please. Okay, spending time with another person to get to know them and to allow one to get to know themselves. Please, I had teenagers. Okay. God does provide guidelines on our behaviors and attitudes. So let's look at them. Go ahead. Dating helps us to see the issues we need to work on for ourselves. Dating helps us to find out what we thought was important and in reality, not what we wanted at all. Example, I want a quiet person. I have to marry a quiet person because I'm a very loud person. But that person is too weak for me because I go out on them and I want to go out with a person who's quiet, and that person is very weak. Now, could you imagine if I married them? I have to live with a passive person for the rest of my life? That's part of dating. It teaches you what you want and then seeing it. Wanting a strong, I want a man who's a very strong character, AKA controlling, right? Nobody wants to be in a controlling relationship. When dating a person, we are able to really discover if they are the right one and make wise choices to walk away or stay. Just because you're dating someone does not mean you're in it for life. It's okay to walk away. But if it's done in secret, then no one is there to point out things that maybe you don't see. You tell somebody, tell a friend, tell a couple of friends, it's okay. Tell your parents. I know. Some of you said that if your parents find out about dating, their heads are going to blow up. Right? Be honest with them. Just be persistent. Be persistent. I know my parents were persistent. My parents were like, no, dating, no, right? No, absolutely not. But talking to them, they realized that I needed to do this and he needed to do this. I dated, he dated other people, completely other people. But I knew what I wanted. He knew what he wanted. And we got together because I saw what I wanted in him. Make sense? I knew what I didn't want because I dated what I didn't want. Clear? So if someone feels they often get into unhealthy relationship, they need to stop and look and see the patterns they are repeating. Go talk to somebody. This is God's way of maturing a person, is through spiritual growth, wisdom, and understanding. Your wisdom, your understanding, your growth. Dating, when done right, teaches us who we are and what we are looking for. We are looking for through those experiences. Sorry, I'm getting tired.
Do we have to convince our parents that we're dating the right person, or because sometimes we feel like we're doing so, but they don't believe us? They can have like some opinion about it and say, no, it's the wrong person, forget it.
They don't ever met that person? Have they ever met that person?
No, just by looking at the person, they could say, like, I don't like the person.
Just looking at them?
Yeah.
Then you can ask your parents, what is it that they see? Because there's sometimes some kids, our son brought home one girl. She walked into the house. Nope. No. It was like, nope. But he's like, but mom, nope. There's something about that person I didn't trust. And in the end, I was right. I really was. Because you as a parent, they have that instinct. You have that instinct that you may not see because you're so in love or infatuated. Your head it kind of took a break, your heart is working. And sometimes when you're honest with your parents and you tell your parents what's going on and you introduce them to your parents and tell them why you're attracted to that person, then maybe your parents will be able to hear what it is that you're attracted to. Okay? Hiding it from your parents, you're guaranteed for them to lose it. Surprising your parents and not telling them, you're going to lose it because they're going to kill you. Be honest with them. But our son was really angry with me because this girl was trouble. This girl just looked trouble. But he realized that I was right. Here. So let's look at the safe context. Having the right guidance when dating is vital. You have to have a group of people that you trust, that you can talk to them, that they're going to be there for you. It could be your parents, it could be priests, mentors, good, healthy friends, not friends who are always getting into trouble. Right? Families are all the proper and safe. They could be your checks and balances. Is this person okay? Dude, seriously. Listen to her language. What about her language? Just listen to it. Or did you see the way she's dressed? Something she's calling a skirt is like up to here. Right? Or that guy you're dating, why can't we go out? Oh, he won't let me go out with you guys because we're going to go out on a romantic evening. Every single time it's on a romantic evening, that's controlling. Your friends are going to pick up on it. Your family's going to pick up on it. A mentor is going to pick up on it. A priest is going to pick up on it. Be honest. Be honest. Somebody's going to stick. Okay? But you want the right one to stick. To have a safe context, you need to be open to hear what they see that you may not see at all. Okay? Sometimes young ladies or young men get into abusive relationships. What are some of the abuses? Physical, where's physical? Physical how?
Just violence, domestic violence.
Abuse, physical violence.
Yeah.
He could push you, shove you, slap you, hurt you, right? Poke at you, cause bruises. That's physical. What else?
Verbal.
Verbal. What is verbal abuse?
Saying things like, always like saying bad things at you, poking at your like mistakes, or saying, oh, you're not good, you're ugly or whatever.
Our daughter, did you see her, the daughter, I don't know if everybody saw her, but our daughter who's engaged now, she was seeing a young man, and one day she was crying, and I'm like, what's up with you? She's like, Mina told me that I needed to go to the gym every day because he never wants to see me fat. I'm like, oh no, he didn't. So every mama part came in me. I'm like, what? No, right? So he was verbally threatening her and abusing her, and we needed to put an end to that. Okay, so it's words like that. What other abuses? Emotional. What's emotional? No. Emotional abuse. Anybody know what it is? Want to take a crack at it? Emotional. If you were listening, you would know what I'm talking about. Emotional abuse. Do you know what that is? You just got busted. Told you. What is emotional abuse?
Not showing affection. Not showing affection.
No. Emotional abuse is knowing you have a weakness and they hit it all the time. Like, oh, I have a huge birthmark, right? You can't really see it because it's kind of fading out. But that person comes up to me and says, that is the ugliest thing. Please wear a sweater because I can't see it. I can't change it. That's emotional. Why are you like that? Why do you do that? They make you feel bad about yourself. What do you need to do? What do you need to do if somebody's making you feel bad about yourself? Huh? Just walk away. Not because he loves you. We have somebody we know, very close to us. When she was getting engaged, when she got engaged, we went to see them, of course, and then the first thing I saw in him was a control. He freaked me out. Okay? This guy was not good. This guy was no trouble at all. But when I asked the mom, I said, is he a little controlling? She's like, no, he cares for her. He loves her. And I'm like, how? She says, well, he loves her. He needs to know exactly where she is at all times. She goes to work, she goes home. He timed it from here to here, takes 4 minutes. She calls him when she leaves, she calls him when she gets home. If it's not within 4 minutes, where did you go? They're dating. Yeah, right? But did she see it? No. Did the mom see it? Who's a psychologist? Did she see it? No. She's in a marriage right now, worst marriage I've ever seen. He doesn't let her do anything. He insults her, he puts her down. They need the checks and balances. I tried to be a checks and balance, but because he was a very wealthy person, kind of giving her whatever she wanted, they assumed it was the right person. But if they would have talked to other people, they would have realized this person is saying the same thing that I would be saying. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to scare you. I just want you to be wise. Keep your eyes open. Okay. Dating could help build relationship skills. Dating could teach us what we may lack in our skills to allow us to have a healthy relationship. You're a shy person, they're an okay, loud person, and they want to be social. They pull you along, but they don't pressure you to come along with them. But they help you grow your skills. Do we lack in our communication skills? That's a part of learning. Are we making ourselves vulnerable too quickly? I love you. It's 2 weeks. No, that's not love, people. Do you trust too quickly? You need to ask yourself that. Those are some of the things that you need to check. Are you assertive with your needs? Do you often self-sacrifice for that relationship? Is that person asking more than you could give? My parents really don't want us to be in the house alone. Oh, come on. Don't do that. What's a big deal? Come on. It's not a big deal. What are we going to do? We're in the house alone. I'll sit here, you sit there. Nothing's going to happen. 20 minutes later, they're sitting here. 20 minutes later, it's a mess. Okay? Dating helps one discover what they like and don't like in the opposite sex. Everyone has the idea of what type of person they want to be with. Amen. Dating offers us the chance to get to meet people in different environments and situations, allows us to decide if we are on the right track. So dating helps us weed out people. Make sense? Am I losing you guys?
It's not now for us, This is the problem. So we think.
I don't understand the question.
Personality. I mean, all this is the good, healthy dating. My question is, out of curiosity, when can we trust ourselves and our emotions and desires? Is there an age gap? Is there a stage-wise? Or it could be as early as when I start have feelings? So that's the question.
See, feelings are good because feelings will take you to the next stage of dating. Okay? And in the dating stage is where you begin to weed out who you want to be with and who you're not. Out of 10 people, you might find one person, you might find none.
I think what he was rather saying is he's saying at what age do you start going through this process? Because, for example, you're not going to tell a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old to start doing this, right? So he's saying is, when do you know that you're ready, or when do you know, like, do you go to your father confession, or like that type of thing? So this applies starting when?
I'd say around maybe 19, 20, because that's when people start looking for mates. When you start looking for a mate.
Like second year of university.
Well, I mean, second year university, you could be 18, you could be a genius at 18, or you could be not such a genius and you could be 25. It depends on you. But what I'm saying is one person starts looking for a mate. This is for when you start looking for a mate. Okay, dating for the sake of dating, nothing in return, right, is going to confuse the bejeebies out of you. But if you're dating because you want to know who you are and what this person is all about, that's what you start doing.
So you're saying, for example, yeah, so dating, in other words, because you're looking for a life partner.
You're looking for,
marriage.
right. But in order to find a life partner, you cannot date for, what did she ask me?
She's saying that she thinks 18, 19, she feels it's too young.
Right, but my sister-in-law got married at 17. Right, but I don't know. I'm not going to put, if you're 17 or 18, you're young. You still want to live your life. I'm talking about 20, 19, 20. Usually people begin to look for dates. And if they start at 19 or 20, right, to look for somebody, by the time that maybe they're 22, 23, they'll find somebody. But they won't find somebody right away. That's why I'm saying take your time. You start, and you start learning who you are in the dating process. Dating does not mean that you're going to be intimate with them and that's it, your life is going to be done. That's not what I'm talking about. Dating is getting to know who you are in the process. It's a growing process. Does that make sense? No, if it's not.
After a years, 2 years, 3 years, you know, but to focus on dating, so I must have like time. And for 19, 20, 21, they start to build their, you know, they start to study and to know what they want to do, you know. So it's not the time to start dating.
Who put that law? Who put that rule down?
And who put the other law?
Research. I'm not.
It's
I'm
not all the research.
Right,
you know?
but what I'm saying is, if they are ready for marriage, right, and they're like, no, let me wait till school is finished. It's fine. It's up to them.
Yeah, this is the point.
There's nothing wrong with that.
When I finish something, I will start another thing. You know.
Yeah. But not everybody in this room is going to think like that. But for my thing is, yeah, you're right. Some people want to say, okay, I have medical school. I'm going to focus on this thing, and I'm going to get out of medical school. I'm not looking at anybody, right? That's fine. If that's what they need, then that's what they need. I'm not going to say that's a bad thing, right? But not everybody is in that frame of mind. Some people are 20, are like, okay, I would like to find a mate, or I'm not going to go on to do a medical school. I want to find somebody.
My point, it's not having the dating as it's starting to like exploring what is the dating, you know? Dating it for something, it's not for exploring, you know? This is my point.
I think Jacqueline, Dr. Maggie clarifies it very well. At a certain point in life, ideally 19-ish, I start to be serious about finding or worry about my future, who's gonna be my partner. And because I get worried who's gonna be my partner at that 19-ish, in general, because some people might start later, or some people will have their own objective to finish studies first. And as you get intrigued on that subject of who will I marry, that's when the process of dating starts, and it must start according to set rules, and that's what we're exploring here. We're not talking, and I know openness, exactly, honest, openness, priests, parents, be alert. I'm summarizing the points that Dr. said, and if I understood correctly, let's not confuse the word dating with what we see in the movies of dating, intimate, premarital, and so on. I don't think this is not at all what we're discussing here. And she gave the example of touches. If you find somebody is focused on just the lust or you as an object, and as a person, you walk away right away, right? So.
Exactly. And I can understand where your perspective is that you want to make sure that the person's finished, mature enough to do it. Unfortunately, sometimes people are finished and they look at the round and they're like, oh, I'm 29. Holy moly, what do I do now? Because you're 29, we get desperate. And because we get desperate, we will take whoever comes. We get into a mess. Yeah, so. Right, but I'm saying here for dating is what I want to teach everybody what to, it's like almost getting a muscle that you're going to practice, so you know who is going to be good. I have some people who come to see me, I have encouraged them after a big breakup to date. Not to date because you're finding a mate. You're dating to get to know who you are in this process. What you like, what you don't like, what you'll appreciate, what you will respect. You can't do that if you are not practicing it. Now, I'm not asking everybody to run out and have these massive relationships or lustful relationships. So please, that is not what I am telling you people, okay? But again, I'm talking to pretty intelligent young men and women right here. I don't think they're going to have that issue. They're pretty smart to this group. I think she had her hand up. Mike. Hey, if I have to wear one, you have to talk in one.
I just wanted to say that it's not like a person, it's the same process that you will go through even if you're 19 or you're like 25, because you'll never marry the first person you see. Like you have to know, like she said, okay, I want this and I don't want this, so that will take time. So it's just like to know that you're mature enough to start. Like some guys are 23 and they're not mature as some girls who's 19. So it's not with the age, it's with like how do you think, how you think, what like you know what you want or what you don't want. So
exactly, that's what dating is about. You get to know who you are. You grow in the process. So if my daughter never went out with somebody who's handsy, right, she would have interpreted it maybe as a loving person. But she went out and she knows how she's supposed to be treated in a godly way. Does that make sense for everybody? You can't jump into a marriage just because you're 30, 31, 32 years old, and I will take anybody that comes along. If he is breathing and he has a pulse, I'll marry him. That's what happens sometimes because it's like I just don't have the time. If you're going to do it, these are the guidelines. I'm not saying all of you need to go out and date. That's not what I'm telling you. But these are the guidelines that maybe you should think about when you're dating.
I've often been told that dating, like I understand what you're saying, but like hanging out with like a guy, like going to a restaurant only with one person, like a guy, is wrong. That's what I've been told. Like even if it's only to get to know the other person, and like I agree with you that we have to learn like what's good and what we're looking for, but like what I've been told, and I guess like many of us have been told, is that it's wrong to be with only one person, and like dating should be with other people and friends, because otherwise it's wrong.
Right, because if you're with one person, depending on the situation, okay, and it also depends on you. That is something you need to talk to your parents with and clarify that, okay? It's not a fight, it's not a battle. If you logically and honestly talk to family, they really will hear. You're older. Hopefully they'll hear. I don't. But it doesn't, because what they're seeing is they're seeing what they see in the movies. A boy and a girl, they go to the apartment and, thank you. That's what they're thinking, right? But if you show them trust and honesty and prayer for wisdom to talk to them, right, you might be in a good track. Ask God for wisdom all the time. Because through wisdom, God will open your heart and your eyes to what's going on. And it'll help you also to talk to your parents. Don't do anything behind your parents. Their heads will blow up if your parents find out you've been dating somebody for years without telling them. And they won't trust you anymore. Okay? So these are some of the guidelines I'm just showing you guys. Anybody else?
So I just had a couple of quick questions. In the previous talk, you were talking about how your brain kind of, for most people, fully develops around 24, 25. So I was just thinking in my mind, is there any link between that and, let's say, for example, what we would say now in terms of like the right age finally to say I'm going to get married and things like that, and that once you hit 25 and your brain's developed and you're still not growing and your connections have been made, that seems like an adequate age where people say, okay, now it's time to get married and to settle down around the 25, 26
Exactly.
age.
Your brain has been developed, but you have worked through all the kinks, and then when you're about 25, 26, you may find your mate a lot faster, but you've worked through the kinks.
And the other question I had is, because let's say things that come up with, for example, when you're talking with other people with different experiences, that is there such a thing as like overdating, like people that go out with people too much, and then what I see is sometimes they have trouble then settling down because they're always comparing. Is that this person was funnier, this person was nicer, this person was this person was that, and then they end up, so is there such a thing as, for example, like it's good to get to know people and it's good to get to know what you want and things like that, but end up being in a situation where you've actually dated so many people or you've been through so many people, yeah, that you're so confused as to what you want and you can never find someone to satisfy you because you're constantly comparing them with other people that you had dated before.
I'm going to answer that question. We're gonna talk a little bit also, we're going to talk a tiny bit about intimacy and sex. So we'll cover that. Okay, let's keep going. Here it is. Dating teaches us to learn self-control and delay gratification. Dating within God's limit makes us learn how to relate to one another while denying sexual experiences. That's the answer. Well, when I say sexual, it's like more of a passion, lust, need, that kind of thing. Yep. That means your head has went to town, went out of town. You're not, yeah. If it's become so lustful that you feel like you're thinking, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I have a video that's going to wrap this whole thing up for you guys to kind of what the signs are to a good thing, the unhealthy. Emotionally, like that you keep thinking about them, you keep fantasizing about them, you keep wanting to be with them, you can't get them out of your mind. That's not healthy. But you wouldn't know that if you think that this is the person you're going to marry, and it becomes a mess.
I just wanted to add something. Do we need to be financially ready to do this kind of thing, or?
That will depend on the parents, right? But I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I married Ehab, he was a student. We had no money.
Also, you don't need like
we were
a permanent.
Poor as choice. But it's a choice I made, and it's a choice we made, and my parents were okay. We literally had no money. We were struggling all the way through. But that's something our parents were like, do what you need to do. It's your marriage. But we had to talk to our parents about it. He was a student. I wasn't working.
Okay.
So no dinero.
Because I mean, we don't marry right away. We have
so
to.
So you want to تكون نفسك الأول. Isn't that what it is? كون نفسك الأول and then find yourself a wife. Yeah, you could be like 45 in this day and age, unless you like have a really good job, like a surgeon or something. Then yeah, you can do it real much faster. But sometimes people say, you know what? When we're together, and there's like for us, the happiest, not the happiest, the most memorable time for us is when we were students, when he was a student. Because we had nothing. We only had each other. For us. I'm not saying it's okay for all of you. Yeah, I'm here. I see a conversation back there. Do I need to call you people out?
The females would like to know, is it bad if she is older than he is?
No. Again, depends on the person. No, we have somebody in church who's 5 years older than her husband. And we know also another person in church who's 3 years older than her husband. If it's fine with both parents and everything. Now, if she's 20 years older, we call that what? Who? A cougar. Like that, no. If she's 5 years older, I'd say the max should be maybe 4 or 5 years older. But if we start like dating, if a young guy who's 20 and she's 35, yeah, I don't see that going to a marriage anywhere. Unless she's like rich. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You think that? Yeah, cougar. No, we won't do cougar. Okay. Oh, there's another question.
Excuse me, Maggie. I would like to know, I understand that at least we should be mature enough to start a relationship or to start dating, but at least is there a time frame for the dating? Let's say for 6 months, 1 year.
There is a time. I'm going to talk about it. Okay. Okay. God's intent to delay gratification is to avoid confusion and disillusionment. When we have, well, not we, let's not, erase that. When one person gets into a sexual relationship with somebody, what happens is they put kind of like rose-colored glasses on. They don't see the person, okay? Because they get connected in a way that's not normal, okay? Having intimacy with somebody before marriage in God's wisdom is not a good thing because you don't. Do you want to join us? See what happens when you come late? You get called out. Come on in. So the thing is that it becomes an illusion or an illusion where you won't see clearly because those things are all firing of the hormones. Our hormones are kicking in, we won't see that person clearly. They could be the worst human being alive, but we won't see it. Okay? It muds our water. Does that make sense? Why intimacy is dangerous? Well, there it is. Sex will blindfold us to entering into an unhealthy, destructive relationship. I have a young lady who's Egyptian. She just got divorced from her husband. Horrible human being. He was an alcoholic. He was an abusive human being. He was verbally aggressive, physically aggressive, cheated on her with many, many, many women. Okay? Why did you marry him? Because I thought he was the one we had sex before marriage. It's a mess. Right? It's a mess. She felt like, oh, when you had sex, that's it. He was the one for me. But all those signs were right in front of her, but she wasn't able to see them. All it does is that it's God's way of saying, hey, your time. Don't jump into something that's going to be blinding. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes? Oh, I like the nods of the heads. So when I say yes, I want to hear yep. Okay? So here is a way to get to know the person. The 3 T's: talk, being open and honest, togetherness, and time. You need those 3 to get to know somebody. So these are often done through dating also. Okay. So to gain a clearer picture of anyone, you need to use these, and that is talking and togetherness plus time will give you a good relationship. Very simple formula, really. Okay. This formula will give you a clearer picture of the other person. So, let's see. Question 1. You meet someone at a week-long trip, church convention, and you spend every moment with them, and you get to thinking, she's kind of cute. I've been talking to her all week. He is wonderful. I've talked to him all week. What are we missing? Somebody said it. Let's see. Talking together, but they don't have time. They don't get to know each other, right? And I hear that a lot. Time will show you what they are like in various situations. So you hear it a lot. Young people, young adults, they go to the conventions because they're going to meet somebody, and they've met somebody, and they're madly in love with somebody after a week. No, you're not madly in love. Stop it. Okay, if you talk to someone online, text, tweet, send smoke signals for several hours a day, every day for 1 year, is that getting to know them? Are the 3 T's there? What's missing? There you go. Good job, guys. All right, next one. I figured you guys are going to know what the next one is, right? You spend a lot of time with the person, but the conversation is only surface. What are you lacking? There we go. Okay, does that make sense? Why it's important for those 3 T's? All right, let's keep going. We're going to fly a little faster now. In the silence of the heart, God speaks. If you face God in prayer and silence, God will speak to you. Slow down. God talks to each and every one of us every single day, every second of the day. If we slow down, He will talk to us. He will answer all our questions. But you have to be still. We all know that, right? Be still and know. Finish it. What is the ayah? Be still. Abby? Ooh, be still and know that I am your God. People. Okay. Anybody need a break? No? Okay, let's keep going. Things to look for. These are the things I want you to look for when you're looking for a mate. Family background. Attitude. Their attitude. Compatibility. Are they compatible with you? other relationships that they have had. Huge, very importante. Okay? Family influences. They're often they impact the person's characteristic. They really do. You can't run from your parents. I'm sorry. One day you're going to look in the mirror and go, oh, I look like mom. Or you're going to look and go, I look like my dad. Well, I won't look like my dad, but I look like my mom. Somebody had a question? We'll get to that, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even previous, like, are we allowed to ask if they have previous relationships and, oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. I'll explain why later. Okay. Yes, it's very important to know past relationships. How they answer will tell you who they are. Okay. Seeing the family will tell you what you will be involved in. Get to know the family. Major important. Okay, let's keep going. Before getting into a serious relationship, you need to have a clear understanding of their family dynamics, the influences. How close are they? Is there a division? Do they fight all the time? Does dad talk to mom? Does mom talk to children? Do children fight? Do mom and dad fight? You need to know all of this before you get into this family. A family will be indicative of how they will relate in the relationship with you. If they grew up in chaos, they will want chaos. If the family was constantly fighting all the time, right? That becomes comfortable for them. What ends up happening is they will create havoc in their own home because that's comfortable. I know it sounds weird. Okay, let me explain it. If I grew up in a noisy home, going into a quiet home, I will lose it. I'm pretending. My house is very quiet, but I will lose it. So I will create something to make noise. It sounds counterintuitive. Does that mean? Do everybody know what that means? It's counterintuitive of what you think would be logical. If my house was crazy, I want a quiet home. That's not how it works. If my house was crazy, I need a crazy home to feel safer. Does that make sense? This is really confusing. Is that okay with everybody? Sure. I grew up in a home where my mom and dad were always fighting, chaos, fighting, throwing things everywhere. I get married to a person who's quiet. When I get married to this person who's quiet, then I ask that person, I will pick fights with him so that I can have that chaos, because that's comfortable for me. That's what I grew up with. Yeah, yeah, of course, you're not doing it on purpose. Subconsciously, you are doing that because that's comfortable for me. If I'm fighting with him, then he loves me. If he's not fighting with me, then he doesn't love me. So I create havoc. If you get to meet the family, yeah. Yeah.
If you go visit the family and you're seeing them fighting all the time, yeah, they're fighting in front of you as a
marriage. Yeah, they're gonna get comfortable. That's why you need to time. Okay. Now, the surprise we may get when we don't look at the full family picture. Beautiful girl. Check out the family. Oh boy. Right? Or how handsome is this boy? Cray. Right? That's what you're going to get that's what you're entering. So you have to be careful. See, the outside looks great, but this is what it comes with. You cannot escape family. All right, recognize what is unhealthy is a conscious effort that takes a deep insight. In marriages, and the behaviors are set, and making changes are difficult. So that's why I'm saying do all of this before you get married, because when you're walking down the aisle, we'll talk about it, you should be on the same page. Do your homework, people. You should never be surprised by anything after you get married. So when you're engaged to somebody, do your due diligence. Get to know them all the way. Not physical. We become disappointed or disillusioned of the person we are with if we do not do our homework. Keep going. So we will see only what we want to see. We will make excuses for them if you're making an excuse for them when we know what they are doing and saying is not right. Oh, he didn't mean it. Come on, he really, really didn't mean to yell at me like that. I don't care. He yelled at you. Walk away. Okay, I'm getting tired now. We have thought expectations, but not realistic evidence to back it up. He loves me. Oh, he's yelling at you all the time. She loves me. She insults me all the time. She's insulting you all the time. How does she love you? Don't get caught in the disillusion, in the illusion. Does that make sense? Okay. Often when people find someone, they may not be willing to look at the whole picture, fearing they will lose that person or be alone. That's the danger, right? If I say something, he might walk away from me. He might leave me. He doesn't want to be with me. But we'll fix it. We'll fix it after we're married. Yeah, no. Okay. Often what we think we could live with or fix often will be a major issue in the marriage. If you think you're going to fix it after marriage, forget it. It's not going to be fixed. It's going to grow and it's going to be bigger. Okay, so he or she never showed me that side of them. I hear that. They changed. They tricked me and pretended to be blah, blah, blah. No one told me. Really? Seriously? People, these are excuses that you didn't do your homework. There was a young girl, the one I told you about, the one that we're trying to get a restraining order from him. That boy is cray. He is really bad. So we're trying to get a restraining order from him, and she looked at me and she just, on Thursday, she said, you know what? I didn't see it. I didn't see anything in him. I'm like, really? Okay, let's go back and take a look at their dating history. She says, when we started to date, they dated one date, and then he told her he wants to be exclusive, only him. She's not allowed to date anyone else. She's not allowed to see anyone else. They want to be exclusive together all the way, all the time. What does that tell you? He's controlling, and that's what he was. She's like, I didn't see the sign. I'm like, we just talked about it, right? So all the signs are there. If you're sharing your information with your friends and your family, they will point that out. If you choose to continue, well, nothing we could do. Be careful. Sometimes the outside doesn't match the inside. Remember David Beckham? Okay. Any questions? Okay.
You just insinuated that we could have multiple dating, not multiple dating, but exploring. Can we, is this allowed in that phase? Or we have to be committed?
That's part of the dating process too.
Okay.
So for that young lady, when
Yes.
he goes out with her and he tells her, you have to, that's it, you and me only after one date, right? That's if she walked away, she knows that this type of person is too controlling. She will walk away. But if she doesn't, if it's an engagement and he starts, if they never met each other and then they get engaged, and he does that, it's harder to walk away. What if I don't find somebody else? What if he's the only one? What if I'm forever alone?
I think he's just trying to clarify to say that, you know, he doesn't want them to, he doesn't want them to misunderstand, say that you're saying you should start dating multiple people at the same time.
No,
and
not the
saying
same
multiple people
time.
at the same
No,
time.
not at the same time. No, it's one person. Yeah, one person. No, then I'm, you're a hoochie mama then. No, dating multiple people at the same time makes you a player. No, that's not what one person. Okay? All right, next. Sure. Okay, guys. Go ahead.
During the dating, you said that, like for example, he wants to be exclusive or whatever. No one would be ever perfect. That like you always find something that you don't like or that is not what you expected, but you will never find a copy of you that you always expect what he's doing and he was always doing it like
exactly.
right.
And we're going to get into the compatibility, what you need to look for, right? There's going to be things that you need to look for. There are, okay, I didn't put it up this time because I put it up in the marriage one. Okay, there are 3 levels of flags that you all have to look for. Okay, I really need you to hear it. First flag is things that are annoying, like he sits or bites his nails. or he plays with his hair constantly. Those are annoying. Are they going to break up the relationship? Maybe. If they bother you that much, then walk away, right? The second flag are things like his stories don't quite match up, or he gets angry, but not violently, but he kind of gets angry. Those are things you need to watch for. Then there's the red flags that are up in your face. Lying, deceiving, dishonesty, treats people poorly. If you go to a restaurant with him, let's say, and you're having dinner, and he looks at the waiter and he's like, just go. Right? I've seen people do that, right? Or when the waiter or the waitress are talking to them, they won't even look at them. Or the waiter makes a mistake and they start yelling at them. That, run. We're going to talk about those red flags.
I've heard people saying that if you're seeing someone and everything looks fine, it means that there's something wrong, like they're hiding something.
No,
or
but then again, it's for you to figure out where your flags are.
Oh.
You. And talk to people.
All right.
Okay, let's keep going. There's a lot more to go, guys. Compatibility. Opposites attracts. Differences is the spice of life. That's what I hear all the time. She's good at making money. He's good at making money. I'm good at spending it. She is confident. I need reassurance. He is everything I am not. He completes me. She is a people person. I am to myself. Is that the right way to look at it? Is there anything else? These thoughts are normal because we all have the need within us to find what we think is missing piece that completes us, right? So we're looking for them to complete us. What you need to do is you need to complete you. They need to complement you. Keep going. Okay, we need someone to complement us, never complete us. Why?
Because without them, you're going to feel like you're missing something. You don't want to depend on one person, but be able to depend on yourself.
Basically, right? If you're half empty, right, and I come in, I'm going to fill you up with what? Me. I'm going to fill you up with me, not who you are. Okay, go. So complete, they will change us the way they want. I will change you the way I want because you're coming in half. If you're asking them to complete you, not a healthy thing because you're going to lose who you are. What we want is we want someone to complement us. I'm quiet, I'm loud, he's quiet. We balance each other out. Right? So you have to be complete. That's why I'm saying if you're going into a lot of relationships or dating or finding something that's not healthy, you need to figure out what's missing and work on it. All right, exploring our compatibility, we're going to look at personalities, values, and lifestyles. Personality, you should have similar education. I had a couple come in, she had a master's and he had 3rd grade level education. They're coming to see me. Did I need to tell you more? Didn't work. They're not compatible at all in education level, so they couldn't even get through life. They got divorced. Is our emotional lifestyle, are you a worrier? Are they a worrier? Are you kind of like chill? Are they hotheads? Do they blow up at any moment? Do they have a bad temper? Know that. Energy level, are they a couch potato or do they stop moving? Because sometimes you're with people and you're like, oh my God, just chill, please, just relax. Or sometimes it's like, are you kidding me? You haven't moved from the couch in 3 days, right? Openness to communication, are they willing to listen to you? Are they willing to hear what you have to say? If you're hurt, happy, sad, they're willing to participate with you. Are they, the expression of affection, are they willing to tell you things that will comfort you? Or they hold it back? Do they have a sense of humor? Sense of humor is huge, people, right? If somebody has this, okay, my daughter, when she got engaged, the first question I asked her, I said, well, when she was dating him, the first question I asked her is, does he make you laugh? She said, all the time. All the time. That means he was willing to be there with her. He wasn't hurting, wasn't criticizing, wasn't insulting. He was willing, he makes her laugh, he makes her feel good. I mean, they've been together for a while. Make sense? So So let's look at values, spiritual value, family values, and material values. What do they value? Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, man cannot live without spiritual life. Buddha. You must clarify your beliefs before you get into the serious relationship or a marriage. You must know your own relationship with God first. Okay? Many people think that once they are married, they will show their spouse the right way to God. That's not going to happen. If they don't have a relationship with God because they want to, they will never have a relationship with God after. Interfaith people who are marrying someone who's not in Coptic. Conversion for the sole purpose of keeping the relationship is never good. I'm going to get baptized because we're going to get married. No, that's not going to be healthy. They need to have a relationship with God first. Then there's a connection. If the other person is searching for a new relationship with God, then interfaith will no longer be interfaith, but one faith, because they get to know God at their level. I have a young girl. She was Muslim, and she became Christian. Okay? Wonderful human being. Wonderful human being. To this day, the church does not accept her because she was Muslim. But I'm like, she's Christian, but she's Muslim. Not our church, another church. She's Muslim. And I said, no, she's Christian. She takes communion just like the rest of us. No, but she's really Muslim inside. But anyway. Burying or avoiding important issues so that you will work on it later will create a very explosive time bomb. Work on it now. If you're dating someone who's not in the church, they have to have a relationship with God first. Interfaith marriages, your spirituality is important and has a strong impact on who you are and how you view the world, what you focus on. Get close to God. He will tell you what to do. Okay? The disagreements about this particular topic is the cause of many breakups in marriages. Okay, family values. You must have a clear understanding of are they similar to yours? Are they like this, the family with the Brady Bunch? I don't know if you guys know the Brady Bunch, right? They're wholesome. Those are family values too. Get to know their family values. I don't think that side has family values, to tell you the truth. It's skewed quite a bit. I was looking at that picture and I'm like, Lord have mercy, how do they walk in these dresses? Okay. Material values. How does the other person handle money? Are they only focused on money? What does the value of money mean to them? Is money more important than God? Is their work much more important? You need to know that. Do they have similar financial goals as you? They're going to save, 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 save. Not spend a penny. It's what, 60 degrees in the house? That's okay. We need to save some money. What? Are they a miser? Are they cheapskates? Or do they have no withholds? They have credit cards up to $30,000. You got to know these things, people. Lifestyle. Come on, babe. Okay. How is their work-life balance? What are their priorities at work? The reason I picked this picture is that we went on a trip, a big group of us from church. We all went to the Dominican Republic. One of us, she brought her computer. Literally, she was on her computer from day one to the last day we left. She'd sit at the pool with it. She took it right after dinner. She would have it out. It was whole entire life. Her husband was so frustrated with it. But was it different for her? No, she was always doing that. You can't complain once you know what that person is all about. Okay. Do you know oh my God, what do they like to do in their spare time? Are they passionate about a specific thing? I picked Pinterest because I am on Pinterest all the time. For hours, actually. Recreation. Do they have hobbies, sports interests? How do they pass the time? Are they okay? Are you okay with it? I put these up because that describes him. Right? We're going to the hockey game today because we go to the hockey game. He loves the Arsenals. On Saturday morning, he's up watching the Arsenals. Loves to cook. Loves to cook. We travel all the time, and we're Red Sox fans because of Rebecca. We are fans with whatever team she's on. Any questions?
So, if, for example, I don't feel spiritually ready, or I feel that my relationship with God isn't strong, are you saying that I should rather wait and then work on that first before getting into dating?
For your own self or for both of you?
For my own self.
That should always be a growing process for you. You need to work on your spirituality all the time with God.
And
if you're both, right, not strong in your spirituality, then it's something that maybe together you could work on creating, like reading the Bible together, having it like meeting up with a small group, having some mentors, so that you could become stronger together, if it's like an engagement or something. Okay. We're gonna have to fly. All right, let's keep going. My page turner just. Here it is. This is the question somebody was asking me about knowing. Okay. Be a detective, ask question. Why they broke up, how they broke up. Was it I had somebody their engagement broke up through text. He broke up with her through text. And then the next text was, can I have my ring back? No, it's hers. It's a gift. She's not giving it back. What was the previous person like? When you ask them, what was your person that you dated? What was she like? Or what was he like? Okay? Now, are they taking responsibility? And what is their fault in it? If they're like, oh man, you should see her. She was this, and this, and this, and she was horrible, and she was this, and she was this. And then I hear, I listen, and then I'm like, and what did you do? How did you participate? What did you do wrong? If everything is their fault, the other person's fault, and not theirs, then guess what? They're never going to take responsibility for their action. Right? Ask them questions. If they don't want to talk about it, then you need to know something isn't right. Never settle on what the other person tells you. What happened in their past relationship? Ask around. Ask around, because you know what somebody might say? He was the nastiest human being alive, or she was crazy. Ask other people. Find out. You're getting into a lifetime relationship. Do your homework. Okay. Okay, watch and learn. Get to know their friends. Very important. How they're talking to their friends, family members, co-workers, and those they don't know, like I was saying, in a restaurant. What do they think is funny? Is it funny at the other people's expense? Do they laugh at other people? Oh, look at this guy. Really? And you see it, right? You see them making fun of people. You see them poking fun of people. That is not a good person. It takes time to get to know each other. The other person is like a package. You open one box and find another and another. A wise person will take their time to get to know the person layer by layer before they can make the commitment. That's a village in Nigeria. That's a statement that they said. Now, run. Run. Okay? I'm telling you, run. When you see these, do like these little penguins and run. Always has to be the center of attention. Lies, manipulates, hurts others with no sense of guilt, is often critical of others, looking down on others. Run, people. Is controlling and often takes advantage of others, has rapid mood swings, for no apparent reason, is a chameleon. You know what a chameleon is? Do you guys know what a chameleon is? It changes colors. He will be whatever anybody wants him to be. You never know who he is or she is, because they're always changing. Like they could sit with somebody and they're like, oh, I'm very serious. I talk to them, and then they go to somebody else and they're like, they take that, they're a completely different person, and they go to another situation, they're completely different, and you're like, which one are you? Okay, keep running, people. Just keep running. Has a trigger temper and blames others for their bad decisions, never taking responsibility, can't control impulsive behavior, they just do without thinking, takes helpless or victim role when questioned or challenged, will not take responsibility. Sarcastic and is quick with put-downs. Oh, he's just sarcastic. No. He's just joking. He's just joking with me. No. If it hurts your feelings, that's not a joke. Okay? All right, more warning signs. These are more serious warning signs, signs of what a difficult partner would look like. Very little insight. They lack empathy, have no interest in conflict resolution, lack maturity, not humble, and is often defensive. Not a healthy person at all. They just don't get it. Discounts others' perspective or concerns. You can go to him or her and tell them how you're feeling. And it's like, okay, nothing changes. All right. Lack emotional control. They are unable to monitor their words and will hide behind their words. Oh, I was telling you the truth because I love you. You look like a cow. I love you. Really. I know cow stands for Coptic Orthodox women. Did you guys ever hear that? My son figured it out. He's like, oh, it's Coptic Orthodox women, Mom. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. Okay. Inadequate past relationship. They are able to tell you what is wrong with the other person. They are unable to take any type of responsibility for anything they have done. Okay? They're snakes. Other warning signs. If they feel compelled to check on you through texts and calls, and if you don't respond, they will track you down. Meaning, I need to know your every move. Those are dangers. And it's not only for guys, for girls. Girls do it to guys too. Hi. He doesn't answer. Hello, are you okay? Me? Is everything all right? Chill. Okay. Next one. Offers advice and suggestions that are personal and want you to change in the same way that they're asking you to, aka you have no idea what you are doing and I need to set you straight. I know better than you and I'll fix you. Judges the friends you keep and questions your behavior, aka I don't like you talking to others who may influence you. I need to be the only one to tell you what to do. See our little penguins? Run. I mean, don't leave your coat and everything behind. Run. Just run. Okay. All right. Why don't people see it before marriage? There is a shift in one's thought by looking for their partner. Age is a huge factor. I'm 32. I have a client who comes every year. She's with me for years. I'm 34. And I'm like, and I'm never going to find anybody. So the pressure is on for her to find anybody. Culture, right? In our culture, you shouldn't be a certain age to get married. What's wrong with her? She's 25. There's something wrong with her. Friends, fear of missing out, right? Everybody else is married, everybody has kids. I need to be married and have kids. No, you don't. Fulfillment of what is expected and will work on the problems later. Make sense? Let's keep going. Any questions?
Judges the friend, like in the last slides.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if the friends are clearly like bad friends.
No, these are people who they don't want you to be around people who will tell you that they're bad.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Dating God's way. How can a strong physical attachment be beneficial for a marriage, but devastating for dating? When we talk about couples, I tell couples all the time that are married, sex is a big part of it, huge part of a relationship. Healthy sex is great for a couple who are married because it makes the marriage stronger. So if you think about it, then how would sex be with a marriage be healthy but not in dating? Let's figure it out. Objectively, the ability to think and see clearly. Once sex comes in and there's no commitment, like in a marriage, you can't see clear. I don't care how hard you try. You cannot see clear. Over-attachments in dating lead to overlooking and minimizing problems. That's why it doesn't work in dating.
We're not going to see the mistakes of the person when we are dating, but it doesn't change from marriage, no? So we're not going to be attached for their personality. We're going to be attached for the same thing as we are dating.
I don't understand the question.
The question he's asking, he's saying, but then doesn't that also mean that if you sex within marriage will make you lose objectivity in your marriage and you'll ignore the bad things about the person, et cetera, et cetera?
These are people who are not married.
Yeah, saying that why is it that you lose your objectivity before but not after?
Because once you're in a relationship and you weren't blinded, you look through all the stuff I gave you, have a clear sight, then you can enjoy the intimacy. But once you're still in the looking process and you put these big black glasses on, you're not seeing anything. That's why there's a difference. Okay. Does that answer your question? Power of sex. For a marriage, sex may help with the healing and mending of hurts and misunderstanding. For those who are not married, sex becomes blinders, leading to a lifetime of hurts and misunderstanding. See the difference? One heals, one blinds. Depends on the time. God had great wisdom when he said, wait, because of that. Not to punish us, right? But he's doing it because he doesn't want to put blinders on. Every marriage is a blessing from God, if it's from God. If it's from man, oh, what could happen there? There's a couple, that's for me, my information. A married couple, after 3 weeks, they met literally. They came into my office. They got a divorce. They came in and they met in Vegas, I believe, in Vegas. They got married. They met 2 weeks later. They were married. And when I asked him, I said, "What happened? 3 weeks? It's quite fast. Did they know each other?" She looked at me and she said, that's why they got married. 7 months later, Lord have mercy, I don't even know who you are, I don't want you, because the blinders came off. They weren't even compatible. He was a peeping Tom. Do you know what peeping Tom is? You know what peeping Tom is? Yes. They caught him. Do you know what it is? You know what? Well, no, a peeping Tom is someone, they caught him, this particular person, which was the breaking point for her to leave him, was he was hanging off the balcony in his house, videotaping the woman underneath him taking a shower. That's how sick he was. He was on a balcony, على بلكونة, مدلدل, عشان ياخد صورة, واحدة عريانة. عريانة, okay. She was naked. Sorry about my Arabic. So after 3 weeks, she thought she knew him. Obviously, he was ill. Something was not right with him, but she didn't even see it. It was blindfolded. So when God says, do not, he knows what he's talking about. He knows that if you put those on, you're going to get into a mess. If you keep that nice and clear, you will see exactly who he's putting in front of you. All right. Establishing sexual boundaries, protecting your judgment and your reality of what is really going on. That's my Rebecca here. The guy was like all over her. She's like, no, dude, you need to go. Okay. Waiting until marriage will produce stronger connection and romance in your marriage. That's a fact. Sex before marriage will only distort your judgment, clarity, and choices that need to be made with a clear perspective. Can I make it any more clear? Do we get it? All right. Infatuation, romantic love. Romantic love, that's when you hear people say, oh, when I saw him, my heart skipped a beat. Cardiac palpitations, unable to catch your breath, lightheaded, excitement, daydreaming, fantasizing, deep yearning to texting and talking for hours, feeling like that you lack oxygen, the oxygen type of love. That's when wisdom in your brain took a vacation. All wisdom in your head went somewhere else because your wisdom is out the window. So that's why I'm saying, when parents say, do not put yourself in a situation that you might get into a mess, this is sometimes what we feel. And when you're in the situation, oy, Satan knows exactly what to do and what to say, and you will do something you might regret. You will regret. That's why we're saying get to know the person on different levels. Okay, let's keep going. Don't fall in love with someone you would not be friends with. Excuse me. Do not, oh, did I just cough? Sorry. Do not possess the character, do they possess the characters and friend quality that you would look for in a friend? Could you tell them, could you go to them with happy or sad news? Tell them everything. Have they seen you at your best or your worst? There's a woman we know in our church. no, she's in another church, that they've been married for 27 years, I think, 27 years. Her husband has not seen her without makeup. I'm like, how? She gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes to put her makeup on and her hair and fix it, and then she goes back to bed so he can wake up and see what she looks like. I'm like, are you kidding me, huh? Every day. Every day. So he's never seen her at her worst. And I'm like, really? Uh-huh. Usually when you go to bed, you got your hair up in a big bun, right? No makeup on, and you got the ugliest things on because they're the most comfortable things. But no, she couldn't do that because she married an image and he wanted her to keep it. I know, right? She even went into the pool to swim with dolphins. Makeup on. But that's something that works for them. So it's, I mean, if it works for them. Infatuation is similar to fast food. It tastes good, but has absolutely no nutritional value. All right, let's keep going. So those who do not learn from their troubles of the past are doomed to be trampled by them in the future. Right? All we need to do is get help to stand aside and let that thing roll away so we can start fresh. All right. How do we make the necessary changes within us? To see what you are looking for, you need to first understand what you want and who you are. These are the 3 ingredients for change. Insight, you have to understand yourself. Deliberate effort, you have to make the changes yourself by working on who you are. Time for yourself to get to know yourself first. If I ask each and every one of you, do you know yourself? I would figure no, not most of you would not. You're still maturing, you're still growing. Good luck. Well, I'm still learning about myself. Keep going. We don't have time. No break. No break for you. Will I find love? Everything worth having takes time. You're not going to eat a green strawberry, right? We wait until it's nice and red. Okay. Somebody asked me the time, the probation time. Yes, what? Like, what are you asking me? Okay. Thank you. Here's the probation periods. It takes 12 months to really see a person. Didn't you ask me that question? Okay. Guys, no side conversations. Unless you want to share. You want to share? Share what you're talking about? Oh, okay. All right, it takes 12 months to see the real person, so give yourself time. Take the rose-colored glasses off to help you see if that person is really who they say they are. All right? So 12 months to get to know them. People who marry, this is research. People who marry after they have been in a relationship for more than 2 years have half the divorce rate than those who don't wait. They want to rush in. Waiting 2 years, if not more, is perfect because you get to see the person in all their spectrum, from lovey-lovey to, oh my gosh. Okay? Those who marry in their late 20s and 30s are twice as likely to have happier marriages. No rush, guys. Take your time. Okay? And this I pray that more love may abound still more and more in knowledge and all discernment. Philippians 1:9. Take your heart with you and your head. Don't leave them home. True love with our soulmates. Okay, so before we do that, who thinks they could find their soulmate? No? Why not? So you shouldn't look for a soulmate? You want to have more than one soulmate? Exactly. Soulmates. I found mine. Did I find him the first week we got married? No. We've been married for 32 years. High expectation. Well, a soulmate is different because people will say, I'm looking for my soulmate. And I'm like, if you find them right away, please let me know because I'd like that formula. Because it doesn't happen. Soulmates are, the romance is real, but it's not something you find. It's something that grows through love, patience, friendship, and respect. It's something that grows. You grow into your soulmate. You don't find a soulmate. I have never heard anyone say, I found my soulmate. If they did, a couple of months later, they'll be in my office. The point is that people marry for romance when they think it's true love. It isn't, it's romance. It's physical. Okay. Don't look for a pretty face. It will turn old one day. Don't look for soft skin. It will wrinkle one day. But look for a loyal heart that will miss you every day and love you forever. That's a soulmate. Okay? The love we have is God's gift to us. What we do with it is our gift to God. Make sense? Okay. So, these are the 5 stages of a godly marriage. I came up with this. This works. If we follow it correctly, hopefully it'll lead to a good marriage. Goals. Marrying the right person will only add to your life, not subtract from it. Like, oh Lord, lust me now because I hate this marriage, right? We don't want that. We don't ever want to hear that. You bring out the best in each other, not the worst. You totally trust the other person to what they can, and you give them grace for what they aren't able to. Make sense? Okay, so let's find this first step. You appreciate each other's authenticity and uniqueness, never wanting to change it. If you walk into a marriage saying, I'm going to change him, please do not walk in that relationship. You are not going to change him. This is who he is, or this is who she is. If you're taking them as they are. Doing things for each other without wanting or expecting anything in return. Okay, let's look at the 5 stages real quick. Friendship, dating, relationship, engagement, and marriage. If you do these 5 in the correct way, I think you'll have a good marriage. Of course, God is in each and every one of them. Friendship. Let's spend time together to know each other is different in it's supposed to be in different situations, under different circumstances. When you hang out with a whole bunch of friends, you know what they act like. Are they acting a fool all the time? Right? What are they doing? Well, how are they talking to each other? Okay. If you could trust them as a good friend, you may be moving into a good direction. Having trust. Are they a good person? Or do they just follow the crowd? Okay. So dating is a good way of weeding out those who are not for us. So to get to know somebody, friendships, and from those friendships, you're usually one person you kind of connect to. From that person you connect to, you date them to get to know them a little more one-on-one. Dating will help one mature and grow and become aware of what they are looking for in a mate. Group 1, take them. We're dating together just to get to know them on a more one-to-one level. Now, relationship. This is the big part. This is the stage where both agree they are comfortable and willing to take the next level. You see that up there? The bed sheets? That little picture up there? It's bed sheets, okay? A relationship is like bed sheets with a lot of things wrong with it, a lot of uncomfortable things in it, okay? In order for this to move on, to go to an engagement, you have to work through these. That means you both work on these. He yells. I don't like him yelling. He's willing to work on it. She's a lousy cook. He'll learn to cook, or she'll learn to cook. These are things you work out together. If you don't work these things out, it's harder in a marriage. Am I making sense? Yeah? Okay. Okay, both need to be in the same place before moving. So one person could say, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure I want to keep moving with this person. This person, I'm not sure. Another person, come on, let's get engaged. Let's do it. And it's usually the girl. Let's get engaged. Right? And the guy's like, I don't know. Come on, when are you going to propose? When are you going to pop the question? When are you going to propose? If he's stopping and saying, I don't know, you need to slow down and figure out what is wrong with the situation. Forcing a guy or a girl to get married, it's going to lead to disaster. Now, go ahead. Respect each other. Able to be yourself and not fear that what they will think. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Our incompleteness and differences gives its sharpening power. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, or confusing a little bit? Okay. All right. The healthy relationship, 3 important ingredients you need. Agreement. Both of you are equally invested in the relationship. Not one person saying, I don't know about this. You both have to be in agreement at the same time. Not one person pushing another person. The relationship generates something new experiences, understanding, solutions, and the different perspectives. And honesty, feeling free to say what is on your mind, and the other person is able to reciprocate their thoughts, emotions, motivations, and intentions. Motivations and intentions. Being honest with the person. If you find yourself you can't be honest with them, find somebody else. All right. Engagement. Nothing but wedding planning is happening. My God, my daughter, when she decided to get engaged, that is all this girl is thinking about. Literally, she went and got magazines, we're on Pinterest, she's picking things out. Her brain is on wedding, right? So I told her to press those brakes, and she needs to go to premarital counseling. I'm making them go to premarital, both of them, so that they can work on some things that they need to work on. Arguing, they both need to work on it. Every couple who's engaged needs to go to premarital counseling. Not the one that's given in church. I'm talking with a therapist. A therapist that's going to be able to really bring out the stuff and not just cover everything. Does that make sense? Oh, I think you're engaged, right? Yeah, okay. Premarital, I'm always recommending it. Okay, for anybody and everybody, all of you should go see someone when you're engaged. 6 months, go see somebody. Okay. Wedding. This is the stage the couple should have no secrets, no surprises walking down the aisle. You should know that person well, not physically. When they walk out of the church, they start life at the exact same place and know what the next steps are. There should be no surprises, no hidden, if you do your homework right. We're done. Any questions?
So
he just called you guys out.
Yeah, shy. How do we deal with reputation?
I'm sorry?
Reputation.
Reputation?
It's reputation. So, especially in our culture, the girls will wait, I guess, that's another question I need to ask later, but usually the girls wait for the guy to take the first step, which date me in the right form, right? So date me, and then they come to discover that person, but then if he decides to walk away because the girl is not fit for him, now he's going to go to another girl. And this girl now comes another person and another person. So
the guy is going through girls? Like one person, another person?
Or the girl is going through different dating experience, but it's not concluding to engagement or marriage.
Right.
And that's how do they deal with that in a close culture like ours?
The thing is, if a guy is going out with a girl and then he decides to tell his friends that he's no longer with her and kind of rips her apart, that person is never worth marrying in the first place. That's number one, right? Now, going out to get to know each other is very important, as long as nothing is happening to be embarrassed or ashamed of. No one could hold anything against a person that they did nothing, right? If there's no sex, there's no intimacy, there's no connection, physical connection, you can go out with them. We went out to dinner, and this person, really bad person. I'd never go out with him again, right? It's not, the thing is, the reputation is when a girl is doing something that it shouldn't be done, right? Because then there's shame and guilt, and there's judgment, okay? To go out, but again, like I said, if you're dating somebody and this person is a really nice guy and is expecting you to do something that you're not comfortable with or will do, period, right? Then this, why did it get so dark?
Maybe part of it could be answered is if you're not doing anything behind people's back, you're not Because why are you doing it in secret? But if you're doing it openly, honestly, in a godly way, not going too far, there should be no issue. And that's more on the other people then. If people are gossiping about having a wholesome relationship, that's not on her, it's on you. Not you.
Who in the Bible, we were talking, Ev and I, who in the Bible, I can't remember their name, you need to help me. Who in the Bible was dating? He kissed her when he first saw her, and they were dating. Rachel. 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 Just as tired of that. Jacob?
When Abraham sent Isaac to find Rachel, right? And his first meeting Rachel, his first encounter, go to Genesis, his first encounter with Rachel, he kissed her.
And he waited
before knowing her, before anything, he kissed her. That was his hello.
But it also took him 14. He was with her or dating her, right, in a holy way for 7.5 years because he married his sister first, right? So for all those years they were together as a dating partner. Wait, there's a video. Where'd you go?
There is no video.
You didn't download it? You didn't download it? The one that I was telling you, there's a part that I was worried about.
Oh, yeah, I have it.
Okay. Yeah, there's a part I'm worried about. So that's the whole thing, is if you're dating in a Christian way, there's nothing for you to hide. There's no shame, there's no guilt. You're dating in a way that the Lord is saying, get to know you and get to know who you are. And if you get to know that person, now, if that person takes the information and decides to stretch the truth, then the Buna should be involved in it. Yeah, because he's ruining her reputation and nothing happened.
So I had a question concerning education levels. So sometimes at a certain education level, there can be like, it's weird, but like, there can be competition between like who performs best.
Between who, a couple?
Between like two people, and like sometimes that will make a person think that it's not like that they want to look for someone with like who's doing something completely different, or like studied something completely different, or like at the different education level to like prevent that. So what?
I'm not quite sure what the question is. No, that she's saying they're on the same education level.
For example,
so if they're both doctors, you mean?
Yeah. For example,
they're in competition.
For example, for example, in my friends, like there can be competition because like it's like the education we're in, like it can be like competitive, and we tend to like compare each other. And I feel like that could be an issue, like if we're looking.
Are you talking about the girls, or are you talking about the girl and guy?
Like even like if I'm talking like in general, because like the first step is friendship, so like.
Right. If you're going out with somebody and he's competing with you or threatened by your education, they're going to always be threatened by your education or competing with you. Then that person is just not giving you the love that you need for the genuineness of who you are. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? I don't think it answered your question. If I'm in competition with you, I'm a guy, you're a girl, obviously, right? And I'm in competition with you because I don't want you to be better than me. You see my little penguins? Run. Run, okay? But if a girl and a girl are they're friends and you're competing, competition is great. It pushes us to be better. But being mean is not a good thing.
Either not at the right time, because sometimes people will come and say, I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm going to do it anyways. I know I'm too young, but I'm going to do it anyways. Or people that knowingly date people they know that are not good for them. So they'll say, I know this person's not right for me, and I know I'm never going to marry them, but I just want to have fun. Or my parents are against this, Abuna's against this, everyone tells me this is wrong, but I'm still enjoying myself, so I want to try, and I want to, because you mentioned how dating is important to try, but sometimes I can talk specifically about when you're actually knowingly do something you know is not right, or you're too young, but you go against the grain because you want to try.
If everybody's telling you stop, don't do it, don't do it. That's why I'm saying getting people involved to tell you that that's not right. But if they're stubborn and they want to do it, there's really nothing you could do because they're on a road of destruction.
Yeah, but can you talk about like what happens to you long term when you do something
long term?
Like that?
You come into one of my offices. Basically, it's not going to work. If you know that this person is not right for you, or everyone around you knows it's not right for you, they see something you don't. That means there's one of many things. There could be ashamed. They can't leave because they did something they really can't leave, right? They were intimate with that person. Or the fact that there's guilt, because that person may be abusing them in mental ways, the guilting them to stay. If that's the case, you need to have your eyes open and be able to talk to others and figure it out. That's why I'm giving this, so that you can be aware there is something like that. If everybody around you says this person's bad, or I know this person's bad, I know it, well then why are you with them? Well, I just love them. Well, you really need to think what is holding you there. And 90% of the time it's because they had premarital sex. And that's kind of holding them there. And that they just can't let go. Either shame, guilt, fear will hold them back. I think that's when Abuna comes in, or parents come in, or family or friends come in, mentors, somebody that's older that you could talk to. That's when they need to step in. Okay? If you're on that path, I can guarantee there's a divorce. And I don't usually guarantee things like that. But this one, I've seen it. I've seen it with many, many people. Oh, I love him. I love him so much. He's the best thing in the world. No, he's not. He's yelling and insulting you. That's okay. He'll change. Oh, Lord. He will not change. It'll get worse. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and what about the starting too young thing? What are the negative effects of starting when you're 12, 13, 14, or at a young age?
Well, dating at that age, you shouldn't be dating at that age anyway, because all it is physical. Because when you're 13, 12, 13, 14, 15, your body's changing. Hormones are all over the place. So you're not really dating. It's an infatuation. You're physically attracted to that person. So there's nothing maturity and mentally mature about that.
And like it can even happen at older ages, right? Like still be 18, 19 and still fall into infatuation.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, it all depends on the maturity level.
If I'm start dating, let's say, for example, I'm a mature person, I start dating and I fall out, we broke up after 1 or 2 years, should I take like a break before starting dating again another time?
If you broke up after 2 years, right, and you figured out that this person wasn't for you, and then you go out again for somebody and they're doing the same thing, take a break. Okay. If you find yourself repeating, take a break. Get to know what's going on with me. Okay. Also, I wanted to touch base really quick. Someone had talked to me downstairs, and they said that, okay, I'm going to touch base with pornography here, okay? In pornography, a lot of times people struggle with it, right? Young men, young women, they struggle with it. Is it an addiction? Yes. Is it permanent if you let it go for a large, like 20 years, 30 years, okay? There's help always for people, always. There's nobody who's ever just, that's it, I'm doomed. That's not it. If you realize there's a problem, if you realize something is going on, I always recommend you talk to somebody. Talk to somebody that you trust, and they'll be able to get some help for you. You're never doomed. Am I making sense? Like an alcoholic could have a life, but doesn't have to drink, right? Pornography, it's just a rewiring of your brain. It's going to take time, but can you get it back and be a normal, healthy human being? Yes. You're not doomed to death. Does that make sense?
Question, please. When can I know that I'm addiction for something like that?
When it starts debilitating your life. When you stop going out, when you stop seeing friends, when you're more and more isolated, guilt is getting to be too strong, shame is too strong. That's kind of to the point where it's like, I need help, if you ask for help, right? Doing it once in a while, not good. It builds on it. Remember I told you your brain gets bigger, right? It needs more and more and more. So anything that you need help in, find a mentor. Find someone who's older. Find someone you could trust to talk to them, to be able to be honest with them. Trying to do everything on your own, you're going to get into trouble. Is that okay?
Again, in a culture context, is there any proactive steps that the girls can take to, in the right term, attract the right person to date?
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
Be who they are. Don't pretend to be somebody else.
Okay.
Be who they are.
Okay.
Be yourself. And if that person doesn't like you for being who you are a fabulous person. You just brought somebody who's weird away. Okay. Be honest with yourself. Be open. Talk to family members so that they know. Just like my Rebecca, when she went on a date, she was willing to tell me, this person is crazy. right? I was able to tell her, just get out, just leave. She's like, I don't want to hurt his feelings. I'm like, get out. I'm telling you, hurt his feelings and get out. But being honest and open and be yourself do not change for anybody.
I was wondering if there's like certain kind of thing you can't ask when you meet someone.
Like questions to ask?
Yeah.
Ask about family. Ask about things that they like. Just have a conversation with them. It should flow naturally. If you want, you can go online and have questions that you can ask somebody that you're dating.
But is there some kind of thing you can't ask? Like, you should not ask at the first time?
Like, we should get married right now and have kids? That will freak people out. First date. Don't ask that. Yeah, no, you can.
Like, I don't know, whatever question that is too personal.
Again, if you're dating somebody, I wouldn't get too personal right away. Okay? But yeah, get to know them first. Any other questions? Go ahead. Just ask for her. What does she want to say?
Okay, so my question was like, you said there is steps in the friendship, and you find it like, okay, it's a good friend, you can go with dating.
Dating, yeah.
Yeah, if the stuff doesn't work and you see that this person, like, no, you don't like it, you have to run. So then what do you live with, like, he's a friend, he's what?
Yeah, he's back to, again, if you're not doing something you're embarrassed about, he becomes back to being a friend. It just didn't work out. It didn't work out. If the thing is, if it starts off hot and heavy, then you could never be friends.
Like what
Hot and heavy. Touching, kissing, petting,
No, if it's
doing
only
all kinds of stuff.
like what you explained, like you just know each other, like.
Yeah, let's get to know each other. You go out on a date, this person is like really weird, and you're just like, he's not for me or she's not for me. It's okay to say, hey, you know what? I don't think this is going to work, but I really like you as a person. But you don't have to like them as a mate. It's okay to like somebody, to be as a friend. You can put them there, and then you're not going to be my mate. You're not right for me. And it's fine. Again, being intimate with someone carries shame and carries guilt. That makes it impossible to walk away. Okay, so don't put those blinders on. Take them off. Keep it clear. Keep it holy. Keep it the way God intended it to be. Don't put those glasses on. He intended us to be intimate with our spouses because that's the way he wanted it, because it makes it closer. But until you find that person, try not to. Any other questions? Sure.
So sometimes people will talk and they'll say that the relationship moves forward emotionally very, very quickly. And is that something that people should be careful about? So for example, is it okay to really have these intense feelings very, very, very quickly and then suddenly feel that, okay, that's it, this person is right for me because in like 2 weeks we've like bonded intensely. I think you kind of touched on about it before, but maybe just that like often people will say that that's a good sign, that in 2 weeks everything clicks and it's very strong, and that means we're made for each other.
That means your hypothalamus is working, not your heart, not your brain. It's only hormonal. If it's only hormonal, hormones will only last the maximum of 3 years. They can only fire for 3 years. After the 3 years, they stop. And then you look at the person and you're like, ew. Basically. Don't follow, those hormones are dangerous. That's why when we say when you're dating someone, make sure it's not a one-on-one in the house. Because that temptation is so strong. I'm going to be honest with you. It's very strong, those temptations. Be it in a public place. Have others around you. Enjoy that person. You can do all that. Go to a restaurant, have dinner, a wonderful time, thank you so much, and you go home, right? But sitting at home alone in the car, sitting alone at home, being in the car alone for hours, those things you begin to physically become attracted to that person, which could lead to danger and shame and guilt and all of that. So avoid it. And I know it's hard, right? But you have to use that wisdom and use the power with God. Ask him for wisdom. Ask him for power. He answers all the time. He may not answer the way you want him to, but he answers. Okay, did you find it? We didn't find the video? I had a really good video that kind of wrapped this whole thing up, but I'm sorry, we didn't get it done. Okay. All right, any questions? Are we good? All right? All right, guys. Thank you, guys. You're welcome.